Welcome to the Profits in Pajamas podcast. I'm Danielle D, or Coach Danni D, and I help women entrepreneurs and professionals to achieve their personal success stories that include joy, fulfillment, and balance. This is where we talk about how to build your business in a way that allows you to work with ease, be successful, and enjoy your life. My happy place is spending as much time in my PJs as humanly possible. And I want to help other women find their happy space while running profitable businesses or having a successful career. So get comfortable and let's dig in. Hello and welcome to the Profits in Pajamas podcast. I am your host, Coach Danni D, and I am always here helping women, professionals, entrepreneurs to find that space of balance, to find that space where they are living lives that are joyful and fulfilled. So, we want you to be successful in your career, your business, but also successful in life, making sure that you're not just focusing on that one part and excluding everything else in the process. So, this episode, I'm really excited about this episode for one reason alone. It's springtime. So, people who know me very well know that spring is my favorite, my absolute favorite time of year. I love, love, love springtime. And I love springtime for several reasons. So, springtime is, spring represents renewal. And in life, we go through seasons, we go through the winter, the fall, all of that. But in spring, you get that renewal, you get the rebirth of, flowers and, just the beautiful weather, the bright colors. So, spring is absolutely my favorite time of the year, but I also love the symbolism of it as well. The symbolism of that things, no matter what happened before, and we had very weird winter all across the country, especially here we had snow, we had actual like physical snow here in New Orleans. So that's like unheard of in all of my many years of being a New Orleanian. That's unheard of, right? So I always get excited about springtime, and I'm in the middle of like, spring cleaning and getting all my like spring decor into the house. I'm excited. I'm always excited about springtime. It's something about spring that is just amazing to me, right? But just in that same vein of refresh and renewal, I'm sure for those of you who are watchers of the podcast on YouTube, you notice that we have refreshed our space. So we have a new paint color, we have some new decor in here, some of the decor from previously that you are familiar with. But if you follow me on social media, I've shared a little bit of what's going on in the space. I'm still finishing up the room and the space, waiting for some stuff to come in and just reorganizing some things. So, what I want to talk to you guys about today is actually spring cleaning and that declutter, and how that doesn't just apply to our homes or our physical spaces, but that also applies to our business, to our mental state, that importance of decluttering. So, I'm in a decluttering group, and I see a lot of the posts and everything, and people struggle a lot with releasing things. There's a lot of mindset and psychological things that are attached to the clutter that we have. And again, as I'm talking about this, I want you to be thinking about physical clutter as well as mental clutter. Because one, physical clutter creates mental clutter, but two, it's just one of those things that we ignore, that we are mentally overloaded. A lot of the burnout that we experience is more from mental load than it is from physical things. Because if you were to write down a list of the things that you are needing to do, not saying that that list won't be long, but just saying that that list is not as daunting when you remove some of the physical um, restraints from it. When you remove some of the, I'm sorry, not physical, some of the mental clutter associated with it. So that's why it's helpful when you are feeling overwhelmed to do a brain dump and to get all of that stuff out of your head. Basically, in the same way that your space can be cluttered, your brain can be cluttered as well. Your business might be cluttered. It may not be clear in your business that, what's going on because you have too many things floating around. And not that you can't be multifaceted, but that you don't have those things in their appropriate spaces, or you don't have clarity on those things, and that is causing additional overload, overwhelm, and maybe for your consumer confusion because they're not clear of what is this, what is that, and you haven't wrapped it up in a way that is clear. So I want to just talk about decluttering, like your physical space. Know that one of the results of decluttering your physical space is that it gives you lowered stress and anxiety. We don't realize it because we're looking at it every single day. But when you take a step back, that stuff is stressing you out. The chaos of it is stressing you out. And so when you can take an opportunity to get rid of things that don't serve you. And again, everything that I'm saying about physical applies to the mental, applies to our lives as well. What's not serving you? What's just taking up space? The things that are taking up space are not allowing you to create space for the things that you want there. So you may have, this new product that you want to get out, or it may just be you want to get a new outfit, but there's nowhere to put it because your closet is full of things that you don't even like. You can't, you can't fit, or that don't look good on you. But for some reason you hang on to it. We have a tendency to hang on to things, but we have to learn how to release. We have to learn how to release in order to renew, bringing it back to the theme of spring, right? Um, Sometimes, like if you think about, spring and planting flowers, and I don't know why I use this analogy a lot, but I am not because I don't have a green thumb, but I mean, I do have experience with, that the season change, and some of those things are gonna have to die for it to come back in the spring, right? So it has to be released. Some things, like, when I went to replant my garden this time around, certain things held on and some things didn't make it. And the things that didn't make it, I didn't go replace those things with the same thing because it didn't make it. It's not set up for my life. So I decided that the things that I saw that worked, let me get more of that, right? And let me release what didn't work. I'm not going to sit and going back and forth. I'm not going to beat myself up because it didn't work. It just didn't work. Let it go. It's okay. Everything is not going to work. You tried it. And that's going to be true in your business. That's going to be true in your personal life. Try it. Don't be afraid to try it, but know that everything is not going to work. But when it doesn't work, when you're clear that it didn't work, not that maybe it's going to take a minute, because we had, I told you we had the snow and everything looked like it was dead, but some things came back. So some things are going to require you to just give it time and not give up too quickly, right? But there are other things that just didn't work. Like there are other things that was just like that is dead. Like it ain't coming back. It didn't work. And you have to be able to release that and not hold on to the guilt of that thing not working. Just let it go. Just absolutely let it go and be okay with, I tried it and it didn't work. It just didn't work. And we need to be able to be cool with that. And I think a lot of times what we do is we beat ourselves up, or we hold on, or we do everything except letting it go and releasing. We get emotionally attached to what's familiar, whether it's working or not. That outfit that every time you put it on, you feel like, it's just there. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Let it go. Make space for something that makes you feel and look fabulous. We have to learn how to declutter, let go, clear space for what works, for what fits, for what's going to go into the future, right? So I want you to start thinking about different ways that you can declutter both your space, your brain, your life. Um, Sometimes it may be relationships that are not working for you. If they're not working for you, stop pouring into that relationship. You don't have to call everybody and cuss them out and say we're not friends anymore. That's not what I mean. But stop pouring into it. Stop trying to make it work when it just doesn't work. If, just let it be. It's not worth your energy. You're putting energy in spaces that are not serving you. Put the energy elsewhere. The other beautiful thing about decluttering is sometimes it just opens up your imagination. So sometimes you may have been feeling stuck and, stagnant. And again, it was because you needed to clear out for the new. So sometimes your brain can't get to processing what it needs to process because it's conflicted by what's going on in your space, whether that's physical, mental, your community, whatever it is. So sometimes we need to do that as well. Just really take a step back and say, you know what? Let me, since I feel stuck anyway, let me take time to start clearing up some things so that I can be in a better space for the future. So that's important. That's very important. I'm sorry, I had to step away. Walter, Walter got impatient. Okay, but um, to the point of decluttering, I want you to look at your life, your situation, what's going on, and really think about where do I need to just start pulling back or start organizing things or start releasing things. There are things that they're really just not serving you. They're taking up head space or physical space or um mental space, like, and they need to go. And they need to go. And that's going to give you an opportunity to reimagine things in a different way. And I'll share this tip with you guys. This is something that, as far as physical decluttering works for me, but it also, again, translates. So when I get ready to, like, you know, declutter, especially a particular space, I like to take everything out of the space and leave a blank slate. And then from that blank slate, decide how I want things to go back into that space. And what it forces me to do, one, it gives me that space to imagine that I just was talking about. So I can reimagine the space. So that's exactly what I did with this space. I took everything out. I reimagined what I wanted it to look like. I, picked out the accent pieces and the color for the wall and all these different things. I could see that better when I'm looking at an empty space. And when I took things out of the room, I kind of categorized them. So I took, boxes. This is a box of this is a box of that. So I sorted through the stuff as I was taking it out into broad categories, right? And so what that allowed for, one, I could see everything clearly in its place, right, in the room, but also the stuff I took out of the room. Well, if I see that I have a whole lot of something in this one box, but this box is not directly related to this space, this box is not benefiting me, then that's a whole bunch of stuff that I need to get rid of. That was taking up space that it don't need to come back into this space, right? And if I can't create a space that is peaceful for it to coexist in this space, then it don't get to come back in this space. That's the same for your life. That's the same for your business. Sometimes we add things to our businesses because it makes sense in that moment, but it doesn't make sense in the grand scheme of things. So like, you may add, if I use the example of the balloon business, there are some people that do full service, and that makes sense if that is what your intention is. But it's very easy sometimes when a client sends a photo or sends that, and then now all of a sudden we trying to find the prop that was in the photo. I don't do props. Like that's just that's just my thing. I don't want to do that. If I wanted to do that, then yes, I'll start being very thoughtful about what I offer and what I'm purchasing. And but that should be intentional, not accidental. You shouldn't just wake up and all of a sudden now your space is full of, random props from random events, right? That you may or may not use again. We have to start taking time to pause and look at what you're doing and say, hey, does that fit? Does it have a place? Maybe it doesn't. Maybe I don't need to um, get that thing. Or maybe it's an investment. Maybe, I feel like, okay, yeah, I've this is very popular right now and I'm getting traction on this thing and I'm choosing to make an investment, right? So be mindful of how you are unintentionally decluttering your space or your business. Your career could be the same thing, that you are starting to pick up on these tasks and they're really not aligned with where you're trying to go in your career. So maybe drop some of those tasks and say, oh well, I think so and so would be better suited for this, or I don't know that this fits in, that kind of thought process. We need to start decluttering. We need to start um detaching ourselves from things that are not serving us. But like I said, so I take everything out of the room and then separate from the new space. So I'm not bringing old ish into my new space, right? Unless it goes. So I take those boxes out of the space and I sort them out separately and make those judgment calls of does it come back into the space. And now I can see things again clearly. I can make decisions clearly and not emotionally, just honestly, does this does this fit in? And then once you have that new, fresh, peaceful space, again, could be physical, could be mental, could be your circle, whatever. Once you have that new, clean, fresh space, you know what you don't want to do? Mess it up. You don't want to bring foolishness into your space. You're like, it's too cute in here. It's too cute in here for me to bring that junk up in here. So it's going to come in right because you've created the space for it to come in correctly. You created the space for it to exist. And then don't feel like you have to fill every spot that is available, right? Because you gotta leave room for that new stuff that's coming. You gotta leave room for that growth and that new thing that's coming. Like, for example, I'm organizing my files and I have all my files from my, podcast guests. And when I was making my file labels, I was like, oh, I kind of want to put dates on it, but I'm like, this file box could probably fit a little more in it. I don't want to like limit myself. And I was just like, you know what? I know that I already know that this is going to go into 2026, but that's probably about exact amount that can fit in that box. So that's what that label says. And then the next one is going to be, which I've already reserved because I know more is coming. The next one is empty and it's for when that time period has expired, right? So leave space for the new things to come in. Don't feel like every inch has to be filled with something. Leave room. Leave room for life. So start decluttering. It's spring cleaning, however you want to name it. Start looking at what's going on with you, finding that clarity, clearing up the physical and mental clutter in your life, your business, everywhere. Start clearing that out so that you can open up space for the beautiful things that already exist and the new things that are to come. So I'm gonna leave y'all with that. I'm gonna leave y'all with that. I'll keep sharing my journey as I am resetting and reclaiming this space. And I'm not just doing that in this space, but y'all get to see this space every couple of weeks. And so I've refreshed the space. If you notice, the intro has been refreshed to kind of more align with where the brand is right now, the intro and outro of the podcast. Just getting all of those little things in order. As you know, we just wrapped up quarter 1, we're going into quarter 2. So it's just all about, like, refresh and renewal over here right now. But so I'm doing that in this space, but I'm also doing that in the rest of my house and in my, life, just really putting that in perspective and getting myself in greater alignment. It's like a constant thing of, continuing to tweak and tweak and tweak and make sure that things are in alignment so that they can flow the way that they're supposed to flow. So look at where you need to declutter, look at where you need to maybe refocus, where do you need that clarity, and start dissecting that. Start tackling those pending projects that you have that are, holding up your mind, that's keeping you from being able to be open because you're so fixated on that thing, right? And is that thing even a thing that you need to be focused on? So renewal, release, and receive. How about that? Renewal, release, and receive. All right, y'all. I will see you guys next week. We just started the next round of the um calendar detox challenge. May is going to be the next round of the capable confidence challenge. I will have all of that set up for you to enroll probably this afternoon. If not, by tomorrow morning, we're going to open the doors for that next round for you to sign up. I want to see you there. I really, really want you to understand how much working on that confidence and working on that internal confidence changes how you show up, which changes how people receive you, which changes how you connect and grow your business. So keep that in mind. All right, you guys, see you next week. Thanks for listening to the Profits in Pajamas podcast. I hope you got some great tips to start working with these. Want to stay connected? Follow me at Your Workflow on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. For more information about creating balance in your life, register for my upcoming calendar detox challenge at CoachDanniD.com. Don't forget to subscribe, join the community, and book a call to find the workflow program that best fits your needs.